top CEOs, they all have MBAs, from Tim Cook to Sundar Pichai, Satya Nadella. We were tied up with an actual startup, और हम उनकी sales strategy बना रहे थे पूरी. Once you say that, okay, अब मुझे करना ही है, right? There's no choice, right? I'm in that rhythm, and you see the good parts of it, right? This is adding value to your life, and it's not like, oh, ये मैं क्यों कर रहा हूँ? No.
So hello everyone, today we have Sharoon here who is going to guide us for not just MBA in the US but also part-time MBA. कई लोगों का ड्रीम होता है कि अगर आप MBA इंडिया में स्टार्ट कर लेते हो और एक साल इंडिया में करते हो एंड देन बाद में यूएस, और जस्ट डूइंग पार्ट टाइम MBA while doing your full time job, क्या उससे करियर स्विच हो सकता है, क्या आप अपनी सैलरीज बढ़ा सकते हो? We will get to know all about that in today's video. And is MBA still a hype? Let's get to know about it. So hi Sharoon, can you please introduce yourself?
Hey Arnold, thank you so much. But yeah, I'm super excited to chat with everyone. I'm Sharoon. मैं US आया था for my undergrad in 2013. बहुत टाइम हो गया अब लग रहा है. But I came here to study computer science and I went to Purdue University. फिर graduate करके I joined Microsoft as a software engineer. फिर software engineering मैंने करी I think 4 years. उसके during मैंने फिर MBA का decide किया. फिर MBA I joined. I went to University of Chicago. And then वहाँ से I just graduated in June. So and now I've been at Microsoft for 6 years. And currently I'm a product manager at Microsoft. So I did switch a role, which is I think a question on a lot of minds of your viewers. But yeah, happy to chat more and discuss these things.
Absolutely. So आप बताना कि आपको किस पॉइंट पे लगा कि आपको MBA करनी चाहिए? Like, were you not happy with your full time job और कुछ specific reason था?
Yeah, very good question. तो मैं एक्चुअली अपने जॉब में काफी हैप्पी था. So I was already सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर और मेरे काफी अच्छे रिव्यूज आ रहे थे और मैं खुश भी था. बट आई जस्ट फेल्ट लाइक मैं एक कस्टमर एंड बिजनेस मीटिंग में गया था एंड आई जस्ट फेल्ट लाइक ओ माय गॉड, ये काफी चीजें हैं जो मेरे को अभी मैं बिल्कुल नहीं जानता, बिल्कुल राइट. एंड आई थॉट कि ठीक है, मे बी ऑन द जॉब मैं सीख जाऊंगा धीरे धीरे. बट आई वाज जस्ट हैड दैट हंगर कि नहीं, मुझे वेट नहीं करना है कि जॉब में होगा तब मैं सीखूंगा. एंड आई वाज लाइक दैट इज सच अ लॉन्ग road. So that was one reason I felt like, okay, that was one trigger point. The second trigger point for me was that I just felt like, what is the opportunity cost, right? Like मैं अच्छे life जी रहा था, you know, and I was like on the weekends मैं friends के साथ घूम रहा था वगैरह. But I just felt like, you know, I want to do more, you know. I was like, you know, मैं US में हूँ, मुझे full opportunity maximize करनी चाहिए. So for that reason, I was like, okay, you know, I should really, like, I'm young right now, I have the time. So that's why that was another trigger point for me to, okay, get an MBA. And number three was I just felt like I would have loved to get more knowledge about what happens in the business world. And I felt like I do better in a more structured learning environment. So those three reasons were what pushed me towards an MBA.
That completely makes sense. एक बार जब हम कंफर्ट जोन पे आ जाते हैं, एक हंगर आता है कि मुझे ये भी सीखना है, लाइक ये कोई अलग ही दुनिया. आई आल्सो वांट टू एंटर इनटू दैट वर्ल्ड. सो व्हाट वाज योर ड्रीम टू गेट इनटू? लाइक आप प्रोडक्ट मैनेजमेंट में जाता चाहते थे शुरू से, या फिर यू वांटेड टू बिकम अ पीपल्स पर्सन? आपको कोडिंग से छुटकारा चाहिए था, और यू वांटेड टू जस्ट डू अ करियर स्विच?
Yeah, not at all. मुझे कोडिंग एक्चुअली बहुत पसंद थी, अभी पसंद है. मैं एक्चुअली काफी मिस करता हूँ कोडिंग. Different challenges of different roles. But product management was always something that intrigued me. In my previous role, I was doing a lot of PM type things already, and I felt like this is truly what I love doing. And I was like younger as well, and I thought कि मुझे explore at least करना चाहिए कि what this other role looks like. तो starting से मेरे entrepreneurship में थोड़ा experience था, and I was like, okay, this is something I really really enjoy, and that's why I made the switch. But that wasn't the main reason why I wanted to do an MBA. It was one of the things I felt like it will help me when I do become a PM, but it wasn't like one of the big driving factors for me.
Oh, wow. And at this point, आपने क्या सोचा कि you should do part-time MBA, full-time MBA? How did you decide what is right for you? Because जब हम at least US में job ले लेते हैं, it is really hard to think about leaving that full-time salary. एक वो नशे की तरह addictive होती है. It's so hard to give that up. So how did you decide which kind of MBA is right for you?
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite podcasters, Nawal Ravikant, he says that, you know, the biggest drug is a constant monthly salary, right? So I agree with the salary quote. But I think I had a similar thought process as you were describing, right? So when I thought, okay, मुझे MBA करना, then I had the same thought, okay, full time या part time. But I was in a very privileged position कि मेरे पास काफी अच्छी job already थी. So I was like, you know, I do not want to quit this job. क्योंकि usually लोग full time MBA 3 reasons की वजह से करते हैं, right? So number one is they want to switch geography, which I did not want to do. I was happy in the US and I was happy in Washington. Geography सीखता. Number two is they want to switch roles. And I was like, okay, so roles, maybe I want to switch from engineering to PM, but उसके लिए MBA की जरूरत नहीं है. Most people do it without an MBA anyway. right? And number three is when I want to switch industry मुझे switch नहीं करनी थी. I was very happy in technology. So those three reasons valid नहीं थे मेरे लिए. तो I was like, okay, full time MBA already मेरे को sense नहीं बन रहा है कि मैं नहीं करूँ, right? So that was the thing. And then उसके ऊपर से I would have had to forego 2 years of salary. तो मैं 2 साल की सैलरी छोड़ के MBA करता, 2 साल MBA के पैसे देता, H1 से वापस F1 पे ट्रांसफर लेता, फिर जॉब प्रोसेस फिर से करता जो बहुत स्ट्रेसफुल होता है. ओ माय गॉड, इट्स द वर्स्ट टाइम. ठीक है, फिर जॉब हंटिंग करता एंड आई ओनली टू होप कि मुझे सिमिलर जॉब या सिमिलर सैलरी मिले. I was already making enough money at that time, जो it was close to what like top business school graduates make already. So I was like, you know, ये कोई मुझे लगता नहीं कि reason है to go for a full-time MBA. I was already doing very well, luckily in a very privileged position, and I felt like, you know, कि जरूरत नहीं थी मेरे को switch करने to go to a full-time MBA for that reason.
Oh, so that's why you did part-time MBA, which is for 3 years, if I believe. जिसमें like you have to take 2 classes every semester, so 6 credits होता है, and you also have classes in summer, so basically 2 classes. I think 1 class every semester or 2 classes. Can you clarify?
2. तो आप अपने पेस से ले सकते हो एक्चुअली. तो जहाँ से मैंने किया शिकागो बूथ, वो दैट इज एक्चुअली नोन फॉर फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी, बट इवन अदर MBA schools are for specifically for part time, they are a little bit more flexible. So you can take 2, you mostly students take 2 classes per quarter. At least शिकागो बूथ में क्वार्टर सिस्टम था, तो वो एक साल में 4 क्वार्टर्स थे. समर इज वन ऑफ द क्वार्टर्स. ज्यादातर बच्चे समर को ऑफ लेते हैं कंप्लीट. दे डोंट टेक क्लास इन द समर, बट अदरवाइज 2 classes per quarter is the norm.
Oh, that is nice. So summer में तो like you have a break, so you can finish in 3 years, right? In that pace.
You can finish in 2.5 years. अगर आप back to back, अगर summer भी लो तो आप 2.5 years में complete कर सकते हो. तो total 10 quarters basically that translates to 2.5 years में आप complete कर सकते हो. आप break ना लो, लेकिन मैंने break लिया था, तो I finished in like 3 years approximately. Yeah.
Oh,
and most people finish in 3 years, and you can actually finish it in 5 years. You can take a longer break if you want. There is no limit. कि आप तो limit is 5 years rather. कि आप 5 years तक आप ब्रेक लेके स्लोली कर सकते हो. उसके अदर एडवांटेजेस भी हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल आपके काफी टाइम अभी कंपनी आपको स्पॉन्सरशिप देती है थोड़ी सी, तो इफ वी कैन टॉक अबाउट दैट आल्सो. सो या, सो दोस रीजंस मेक इट रियली गुड ऑप्शन.
Wow, I was thinking about funding as well. तो majority part time MBAs में फीस कितनी होती है, and how did you make it possible?
Yeah, absolutely. तो शिकागो बूथ की फीस, ट्यूशन फीस वाज अबाउट $160,000. तो उसमें से माइक्रोसॉफ्ट हैज अ अमेजिंगली गुड जनरस पॉलिसी जिसमें वो $10,000 पर कैलेंडर ईयर देते हैं आपको. तो दैट मीन्स कि अगर आप कैलेंडर ईयर्स में, अगर आप 2.5 years को इफ यू क्लेवर अबाउट इट, तो आप उसको 4 कैलेंडर ईयर्स में डिवाइड कर सकते हो. तो दैट्स व्हाट आई डिड. तो 40,000 what Microsoft paid me. And then I got some scholarship as well from Chicago booth. तो दोनों मिला के I did not have to pay a lot of out of pocket. So I think that worked out really well for me. And बाकी जो निकल रहे थे, जो पैसे लगे थे, वो मेरे running salary से I was able to pay all of that.
That's nice, but $10,000 calendar year, एक साल में तो एक ही calendar year होता है. Like how come 40? Can you elaborate, please?
Yeah. So calendar year basically तो मैंने 2.5 years का कोर्स था, राइट. तो फर्स्ट क्वार्टर मेरा था 2020 में, ईयर 2020. फिर 2021 में पूरा लिया, फिर 2022 पूरा, एंड 2023 में भी कुछ क्लासेस थी. तो कैलेंडर ईयर के हिसाब से 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, तो वो 10,000 per year, it's 40,000.
I see. That completely makes sense. Thank you so much for answering. But technically still it was 160K, so still you have to pay 120K overall at the end.
120K, और अगर आपको स्कॉलरशिप मिल जाती है तो that will get deducted more. But yeah.
So how much scholarship you can get from Chicago booth?
Yeah, Chicago booth, I don't know if they disclose how much scholarship you can get. So I got 20,000 scholarship, but I'm sure other kids get more or less also. Yeah, I got the merit-based scholarship. It wasn't need-based or anything, unfortunately.
Oh, and now let's talk about after MBA. If you feel comfortable, you can share your scenario. But on a generic scenario, what happens when you work in a same company after MBA? Do they like straight give you promotion, straight give you salary boost, or straight give you a career change? What happens?
Yeah, very, very good question. The question I get the most often, actually, like what happens after a part-time MBA or even an MBA. So for me, I don't think, at least at most companies, so in some industries like consulting and investment banking, you almost need an MBA to move forward. They actually ask you that you should, they actually encourage you to get an MBA. But tech में ऐसा नहीं है बिल्कुल. कि okay, they will push you to an MBA, and MBA की वजह से आपको promotion नहीं मिलेगा. So it's completely not, it's not directly gonna accrue towards a promotion. However, the skills you learn with an MBA, you can apply those directly. and then get that promotion or a career change. That's I did both of those things. So I felt like मैंने पहले 2 quarter में ही switch कर लिया था from engineering to PM because I felt like that was the direction I wanted to go. So definitely the classes I took in the beginning itself, it started changing my mindset a little bit more. I started thinking more big picture, more customer focus. I think those things helped me to make that transition and then even apply those skills on the job. So the good thing about part-time MBA, which I absolutely love, is कि आप जो क्लास में सीखते हो सैटरडे को आप लिटरली मंडे को अप्लाई कर सकते हो. That is the best thing I had. For example, अगर मैं एक सेलिंग की क्लास ले रहा हूँ और अगर हम न्यू प्रोडक्ट लॉन्च कर रहे हैं तो मैं वो सेम सेलिंग के कॉन्सेप्ट अप्लाई कर सकता हूँ कि हाउ टू लॉन्च दिस न्यू प्रोडक्ट. सो आई थिंक दैट वाज अमेजिंग एंड दैट हेल्प्ड मी गेट मल्टीपल प्रमोशंस एज वेल. So I think that worked really well. But again, वो आपको just because you have an MBA, आपको कंपनी नहीं बोलेगी हाँ आपका रोल स्विच हो गया है या फिर आपको प्रमोशन मिल गया. You have to work towards it, but it will definitely help you get those skills.
Got it. That is wonderful. Like as you are implementing throughout the MBA, so आपका career growth नहीं रुका. Like during your MBA also you were able to get promoted because you were strict towards your goals. You pursued your goals, applied the knowledge और आप अपने गोल तक बढ़ते रहे and you didn't let you feel कि यार MBA से आपका career में time waste हो रहा है, but you are actually taking as an advantage towards your career.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people actually do the opposite, as you said, कि वो कहते हैं कि MBA तो मैं थोड़ा career में थोड़ा slow work करूंगा, but I just felt like नहीं, ठीक है, 2.5 years के लिए बहुत stress होगा, थोड़ा कम सोऊंगा, but it's okay. I'm young right now is the time to do it, right? Like, and for example, like our CEO, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, did the exact same program from Chicago booth back in the 90s, and he used to commute from Seattle to Chicago. That's what I used to do as well. So he did that, and he was married that time, right? Like, so what excuse do I have? So
wow. यार आपको कितनी बार जाना पड़ता था शिकागो फ्रॉम सियाटल?
So it is actually completely supposed to be in person, but when I started, COVID happened. So which is why majority of my course was online. So I think about 60% of it was online, but 40% of it was in person. उसके बाद भी आपको choice मिलती है. There are some remote classes. I think about 20% of classes are remote now. So अगर आप completely online remote लेना चाहो तो it is maybe possible potentially. But I felt like I was in a very good spot क्योंकि जो 60% remote था उससे I had the convenience factor. तो convenience मेरे को मिल गया कि I didn't have to commute so much. But जो 40% in person था उससे मुझे in person class experience मिला, which was just amazing, right? So MBA is all about the in person discussions and the networking. तो दोनों का experience मुझे मिल गया. तो luckily मुझे काफी अच्छा experience मिला. I think that worked out really well for me. Yeah. That is yeah. So but yeah, otherwise every weekend is the travel. अगर आप part time MBA ऐसे करते हो in person, तो from Seattle to Chicago or wherever you are studying. For example, a lot of people go to Berkeley or Kellogg, so उसमें भी in-person classes होती हैं. But now there's a little bit more flexibility after COVID. So different programs have started popping up that allow more flexibility and more online courses now.
One such program that I know is very popular is the Georgia Tech's MBA program. I know a friend who did completely part-time in India at Georgia Tech और उसके लिए apply किया. He somehow figured out a way to be in person and then got here, got OPT, CPT and manage कर लिया. आपको लगता है it is possible in Chicago booth where you studied and कितना आपने अपने आसपास सर्कल में सुना है?
So one thing I think so part-time MBAs don't sponsor you for an F1 visa. So part-time MBA के लिए you either have to already be, at least that's for Chicago booth and some other schools that I've seen. I'm not sure about Georgia Tech. That they don't offer you a sponsorship for an F1 visa. तो या तो आप US में already हो, either on H1 या citizen हो या green card है आपके पास, या फिर आप completely online कर रहे हो, then you don't need an F1 because it's completely online. But however, once you get in, then you can attend classes remotely. That's completely fine, right? क्योंकि आप इंडिया में हो सकते हो उस टाइम पे, and that's what I've done as well. क्योंकि if I'm in India for an extended period of time, तो मैं कुछ online classes उस टाइम पे ले रहा था, and then come here back and resume the classes in person. So I've done that. But otherwise, I'm not aware of someone who applied part-time from India.
Online from India. Online from India.
Online from.
Sorry.
तो वो मैंने notice नहीं किया. But I'm sure there's ways. I'm sure your friend can has had a very good experience, and he should probably let everyone know how that worked.
Yeah, जितना मैंने अपने फ्रेंड से सीखा है, this is how it works. आप ऑनलाइन इंडिया में MBA के लिए जॉर्जिया टेक या schools like Chicago booth अप्लाई करते हो, and after that it's based on your luck and application. You apply again to convert that part-time actually online MBA to a full-time. So वो luck पे आपके application में depend करता है. अगर आप convert हो जाते हो तो आप आओ F1 visa पे and OPT CPT लो and you can work here. But it's a lot of luck. And I can tell you the part-time MBA at Georgia Tech. Sorry, दोबारा. I can tell you that online MBA at Georgia Tech is one of the most affordable. काफी students
Yeah.
को funding मिलती है, and like my friend
Yep.
Arpit, he got 100% scholarship. He became inspiration for many students who have seen the video, and many
Yeah.
students still at Georgia Tech are getting. So that's why this school has become very special for MBA. But आपने कोई देखी है school जहाँ पे 100% scholarship MBA के लिए मिलती है that you can share with the audience?
I know a friend who got 100% scholarship at Kellogg, so it's definitely possible to get 100% scholarships if your credentials are very, very strong, definitely. But it's obviously not as common from what I've seen.
So MBA को लोग बहुत ट्रोल बहुत करते हैं. Don't take it disrespectfully. कुछ लोग कहते हैं कि Hitler didn't have an MBA, but he became the best leader. और काफी लोगों के पास MBA नहीं थी. Still they are growing much more in their career. So do you think MBA is worth it?
In my opinion, it's absolutely worth it if you're going to the top schools. So if you're going to the top 10 schools or M7 plus a few more, I think definitely it's worth it because आपको इतना network expand होता है, your perspective expands so much. And the way you think changes a lot, I think. And the quality of faculty you get. And I think those things definitely helped me. They have helped me directly, I can say, in my career because I've applied those concepts directly. And the people I've met, it has helped me a lot already. So I think those things have definitely helped me a lot. I don't know if from lower ranked business schools, again, just being completely honest, I don't know how worth that is because obviously it's a lot of time commitment, right? अगर आपको उसमें time अपना spend करना है. But for top schools, it's definitely worth it. And you can see that even right now, top CEOs, they all have MBAs from Tim Cook to Sundar Pichai, Satya Nadella. So there has to be some correlation. I'm not saying causation, but maybe there is correlation.
Absolutely. And जो आपने skills सीखी हैं, can you share if someone wants to learn on all those skills on their own? वो सीखना online possible है. That's what I think. But implement करना online possible नहीं है because the MBA programs open the doors for you to implement it. That's what I think. Is that right?
Yeah. Not just open the doors to implement. I think there's so many lab classes also. For example, when I was studying entrepreneurial selling, which was one of the courses, we were tied up with an actual startup, और हम उनकी sales strategy बना रहे थे पूरी. And because they were a startup, so they were a small company, they needed help. So and they were like, okay, we're getting 3 MBA students for one entire quarter to help us. तो हमने उनकी पूरी sales strategy बनाई और हम हर week उनसे मिलते थे कि okay, what does this look like in the next thing, right? And that is what they would send to their clients. And we were like, okay, what is your outreach strategy and everything like that, right? So definitely hands-on experience. Number one, that I don't know how much if you learn it on your own, you get that chance. So definitely hands-on experience. Similarly, I had another class called Digital Marketing Lab. So उसमें भी I was tied up with another company. उसकी हम पूरी digital marketing strategy बना रहे थे and literally building Google ads, like real Google ads and their marketing channels and what to put in, and all of those things and what geographies to target and everything पूरा वो कर रहे थे, right? Those hands-on experience, number one. And number two is I think in person the discussions you have, right? I think उसकी value इतनी ज़्यादा होती है because MBA में इतने diverse बच्चे आते हैं हर जगह से. They all bring something new to the table, some different kind of thinking, right? तो जब आप डिस्कस करते हो उनके साथ, right, आपका माइंड इतना ओपन अप होता है कि ओह यार this is one solution, this is one problem जो मैंने नहीं सोचा था इसके बारे में. So all of those things are just amazing. I think those two things definitely help you with an MBA that you may not get when you're learning on your own. But definitely I'm a very huge proponent of learning on your own. I'm always taking online courses and doing all of those things. So I definitely highly encourage that if you want to go that route. But those are obviously that's the trade-off you make, I think, in my opinion. I don't know if you have the similar thoughts or similar experiences yourself.
I totally agree to your point. Many leaders who have been leaders before MBA was created, like Julius Caesar or Hitler or whoever you want to name it, they became leaders because they had a team to plan out. और हम अगर अकेले खुद अपने बलबूते पे leader बनना चाहते हैं, we may not get the right network of people for free to discuss. And MBA becomes that platform to learn and implement. And that is something cannot be recreated without an MBA easily. Even though आप online MBA ले लोगे, पर वो skill जब तक implement नहीं करोगे, आप सीखोगे नहीं. And as you said, the best way to implement has been shown to you by an MBA, and not just implemented. You said कि आप directly startups की real life problems देख के समझ के solve करते हो. I've never seen that like that practical it could be.
Yeah, and especially for a part-time MBA in person, अगर आप full-time MBA करते हो, तो you get even more opportunities in those cases. So I think definitely it's there's a lot of opportunity there. 100%. And not just this, I think specifically अगर आपको industry या role switch करना है, right? So if you want to go into VC, venture capital or private equity, you can do similar courses or lab courses where you're actually partnering with VC firms or other startups and help them with their strategy and acquiring deals and all those things. So obviously a lot of opportunity there.
Very well said. Now the most important question, हम सब software engineers हैं. Like I personally feel at the end of the day to become a good candidate for a school like Kellogg's or to become good candidate for Chicago Booth, how will I know that I am even capable of getting it? मुझे लगता है मैं एक average software engineer हूँ, चाहे Microsoft का नाम हो, but how did you figure out and how did you build your application to the level to reach to that university? क्या आप
Yeah,
accept?
that's a very, very good question. I honestly was very shameless, and I just asked a lot of alumni and current students, asked them that, hey, this is my GMAT score, this is what my resume looks like, this is what my work experience is, and all those things. And I think I was shameless, and I just asked like, I don't know, 50, 100 people. And I think doing that helped me a lot to get confidence into, okay, this is the right direction, and to implement changes as well. To say something like, okay, अगर आपने X चीज को एक तरीके से बोला है, but X चीज को अगर आप Y तरीके से बोलो, right? That has more impact. You're not lying or anything, but there's just a certain way to say those things to showcase that I'm thinking of it in a different way. So those things definitely help you. So that was one thing I did, and I went to a lot of events. So Chicago Booth hosted an event in Chicago, or multiple events in Chicago. I went to 2 of those. I went to the event that they organized in Seattle, which is where I live. So I went to all of these networking events and info sessions. And वहाँ पे not just the admission council, but वहाँ पे alumni भी होते थे, current students होते थे. Just ask them questions about, well, what do I need to get into Chicago Booth, and also what is life after that. So even before I applied, I had a list of professors and classes I should take. Like I'd done a lot of research, so definitely a lot of time goes into it. But I think that is the best way to do it. And just looking online and what stats they have of who got in, who did not get in. I think those things help a lot. That's what I did, at least. Yeah.
Wonderful. That's a great way, honestly. But there's also a website called admits.fyi, जहाँ पे आप हर student accepted, not accepted की profile देख सकते हो, and you can figure out, oh, I am kind of in between this, and I can maybe get in.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I think the only thing that I wish there was a way, maybe we can build an app that is more than just what's on paper, right? Because your interview experience is hard to depict on interviews.fi, admits.fi, but maybe one day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I wish there was. So it's kind of hard to practice everything that's needed for an MBA with a click. So that could be a great startup idea.
Yeah, we should consider it.
Yeah, like just one click and you have people right there to practice your essay, get your essays reviewed, and have a college interview, sort of. Yeah. So before thinking about part-time MBA, हर इंसान सोचता है कि will they be able to manage with their full-time job or not? तो आपका work-life balance कैसा था when you were doing both together?
Yeah, very good question. Another question I get a lot. I mean, it's so hard to answer this because everyone has different situations. Some people have kids. Some people have other commitments, financial commitments they have to manage. Some people's work is more stressful. It was definitely extremely challenging. That is one thing I want to say it out there. If you're signing up for this, know that it will not be easy. The very good thing that I had with me was I had very supportive managers throughout. For example, अगर मुझे लगता था कि I'm just feeling very burnt out and I need to take a step back at work. I'm not saying I'm taking chutti or anything, but I'm taking a step back for 1 week. I would tell my manager, be transparent about it, and they were very, very supportive. They were like, yeah, we understand. You can take a step back, slow down, take a chill pill. They actually would tell me themselves that, you're going too fast with you're doing your MBA and you're doing all this. If you want to slow down, just let us know. So I think I had very, very supportive managers that helped. But otherwise, yes, especially when I was commuting, all that commute adds up, and then you have assignments and homework after work. So it's not just the fun part in class. You actually have real assignments that you have to do outside of those things. But yeah, I think definitely I was definitely taking out at least 2 hours a day after work to finish my assignments and group meetings and all those things. But I think once you get into a rhythm, it's a lot easier. And especially once you have that once you remove that mental block that, oh, mujhe ye karna hai, once you say that, okay, ab mujhe karna hi hai, right? There's no choice, right? I'm in that rhythm. And you see the good parts of it, right? This is adding value to your life. And it's not like, oh, ye main kyun kar raha hu? So have that mindset. I think that helps a lot. One thing that helped me also was personally that I had a separate space where I would work. So for example, I used to come into office a lot. So मैं actually office में ही रहता था. मेरा काम खत्म हो गया, for example 5 o'clock 6 o'clock, then I would sometimes pick up dinner at work, bring it, take like relax for 1 hour and then stay at work for another 2 hours to finish my assignments. Because अगर मैं घर जाता, then I sit on the couch. Once you sit on the couch, like my night is done. I can't get up, I can't study. So I felt like just staying at work. That's how I started for my GMAT as well. I would just stay at work for longer and then I would just go back and sleep. I think that helped me a lot to focus.
That's a very good point actually, क्योंकि मैं बताता हूँ कि मुझे भी फील होता है कि when you are in a different environment जहाँ पे हर कोई काम करते हैं, यहाँ पे काम ही हो सकता है. When you're not in front of your bed, there is no option to be unproductive.
Yeah,
So
100%.
that is the biggest productivity hack I've seen in my life. एक तो टेक मोर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. मुझे जब मैं मतलब बताता हूँ कि कभी कभी मैं भी सोचता हूँ व्हेन आई ट्राई टू डू मोर थिंग्स, आई फील लाइक आई एम समटाइम्स मोर प्रोडक्टिव. पता ही नहीं चलता कि ऐसे कैसे हो गया, क्योंकि आधा टाइम तो हम सुबह, अगर इमेजिन करो इफ आई वेक अप एंड आई हैव टू डू समथिंग टिल 12 PM, आई वुड चिल रिलैक्स टिल 12 PM. एक आधा घंटा ही काम होगा. बट इफ आई हैव अ मीटिंग एट 8:30 AM, बट आई वेक अप, बिकम प्रोडक्टिव एंड 12 PM तक काम ही काम होगा.
Yes, exactly. वो आपका rhythm, momentum जब बन जाता है, right? It's a lot easier to pick that up. So I think definitely I would highly recommend. There's other people who I follow on LinkedIn who've given similar advice. I've noticed this as well. Like Shreyas Doshi on LinkedIn, he says, or one of his interviews, he said that जब उसे focus करना होता है, like on a Friday, he would just go to a coffee shop instead of at work. And then now he's just churning out work for like 2 or 3 hours and being in a different environment where he has to, it just makes him more creative and allows him to focus. And I've done that as well, and that has worked really, really well for me. Similarly, being in a different environment or even like staying at work. So your environment makes a lot of difference to how you're approaching your work, definitely.
And yeah, different thought process as well. अगर घर में कोई भी छोटी सी भी like if there's a confusion, आपका for example when you're in house, आपका छोटी सी बात से भी like personal reasons आपका mood खराब हो जाता है. When you leave that environment, when you are in a different environment, different aura, different energy, you think about you forget about those previous thoughts.
Yeah, definitely. Or even if you're like going to library with your friends, right? All those things, because आप सब साथ में एक environment बन जाता है, right? And I think that matters so much in life in general, I think.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Sharoon, for sharing your time and sharing your valuable information. I'm sure anyone thinking about MBA, online MBA, or part-time MBA, or full-time MBA can take some valuable information from you, from this podcast, and think of MBA in future as well. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Harnoor, for everything you've done. I've been a big fan of yours for a very long time. So just want to say a big shout out to you. And for anyone else who's watching this, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or anywhere else if you need any help. Not just with an MBA or with product management or anything like that, I'm happy to help. But yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Harnoor. But yeah, hope everyone has a good day.
Yeah, my pleasure. You too. Thank you.